When some people hear about God, the first thing that comes to mind is this being who is a buzzkill, pretty much. Like, why is he obsessed with rules and regulations? And I mean, if there really is a God, will he care about all of these restrictions? I mean, will he really be that much of a buzzkill and a bore and a just somebody who interferes with our lives? Like, why not just let us be? In response to this question, Lewis invites us to first think about the three different aspects of morality. So we have the social aspect of morality that has to do with how we treat other people. We have the individualistic aspect of morality that has to do with our own internal moral excellence. And then we also have the ultimate goal. What's the ultimate aim? Where are we going in being good and kind and moral to each other? Where are we going with becoming the kind of people who are morally excellent? So imagine human beings as a fleet of ships on a voyage, right? The voyage will only be successful if we don't collide into each other and crash and all that kind of stuff, and also if our ships are seaworthy to be able to make the voyage. Now, we really can't have one without the other. I mean, if we're always colliding into each other, then we'll sink. But at the same time, if we're not seaworthy, then our individual ship can't make the voyage anyway. So the point is, you really can't have one without the other. We need ships that are independently seaworthy, excellent, and ready to make the voyage. But at the same time, we really need captains who care about not steering into other ships. So that way, the whole fleet makes the journey successfully. If we have individual ships that only care about their individual ship, then we may have collisions if we don't give any regard to the ships next to us. At the same time, if we have captains who only care about not getting into collisions with other ships and don't really care about their individual ship, then they will in fact find themselves getting into collisions with other ships because their ship may not be fit for the voyage. The third thing is, well, where are we going anyway? What journey did we set off on? What is the ultimate goal, the ultimate destination? Now, there's two distinctly Christian ideas as it relates to all of this. So, going back to the example of the fleet of ships, it makes a huge difference if we actually own these ships. There's certain rules, there's certain obligations, there's certain responsibilities that we have to steward these ships that we've borrowed or that have been lent out to us, so to speak. And this is the Christian picture of humanity, is that we don't belong to ourselves. We didn't create ourselves. God created us, and thus he has unique purposes for us and unique ends for us to obtain, a unique destination for us to get to. Not only that, but if Christianity is true, then human beings will go on living forever with or without God. And so it makes a huge difference about where we're going and what condition we're in on our journey to that destination. Again, Christianity asserts that every individual human being is going to live forever, and this must be either true or false. Now, there are a good many things which would not be worth bothering about if I were going to live only 70 years, but which I had better bother about very seriously if I'm going to live forever. If individuals live only 70 years, then a state or a nation or a civilization, which may last for 1,000 years, is more important than an individual. But if Christianity is true, then the individual is not only more important, but incomparably more important. For he is everlasting, and the life of a state or a civilization compared with his is only for a moment. So there's so many things that Christians abstain from, and different arguments that Christians have about Christian liberty. Can we drink, or can we watch this, or engage in these activities? And the point of Christianity is not that any of these things usually are evil in and of themselves, right? It's more so about, well, is there a wisdom in doing a particular thing, or will I be a stumbling block to another person, or what this thing caused me to stumble, or is it somehow keeping me from getting to that destination that God has called me to get to? Whereas a lot of people think that God just cares about rules, it's more so that he wants people of a certain sort. That's the more important thing, is that he wants people fit for heaven. So when Christians sometimes make everything about rules and, this thing evil and that thing evil, a lot of times they're misrepresenting Christianity. It's less about things being evil in and of themselves and more so about what's conducive to becoming the kind of people that God has called us to be, and laying aside these things that inhibit us from running towards the mark, the goalpost, the prize, right? And so ultimately, God is making for himself a people fit for heaven. And the reality is, if we live forever, then it really matters what trajectory we're on. Ultimately, Lewis is getting at the idea that if we really want to be fit for heaven, and if heaven really is a place, then it must consist of the kind of people that makes heaven heavenly, and that God is involved in that business. It's less about him being a buzzkill and caring about all these restrictions and all this kind of stuff. And it's more so about him being the ultimate good, right? So when we think about heaven, we're thinking about paradise. And so heaven must consist of a certain type of people for heaven to be paradise. So just some food for thought as we think about morality as it relates to Christianity, all the rules and all the do's and don'ts. Christianity is not about do's and don'ts. It's about being in fellowship with God and becoming the kind of people that really can fellowship with him, that really can enjoy him as the ultimate good, right? The kind of people that really are fit for heaven, the kind of community that would make heaven heaven.